In the fight to save the wild rhino, the young are often caught in the crossfire. But children are the greatest hope of every species. And that's why a handful of heroes are doing everything they can to save these babies, even if it's just one rhino at a time. When people and animals collide, things are never simple. In this wildlife-human conflict, I'm often called in to seek out the truth, to find out what's really happening on the front lines, and identify the heroes who are making a difference. My name is Ivan Carter, hunter, conservationist, and wildlife investigator. Kruger Park, South Africa. Another poaching attack.
You can almost see what's happened here. This rhino was reported as a single shot when the guys found it.
This time, the security response was quick, forcing the poachers to flee, leaving their work half done. And an adult rhino fighting to survive.
As you look at an operation like this rhino with a couple of bullet holes in it, getting the very best chance it can get, the quick reaction of the vet teams, the chopper pilots, to ensure the survivability of the rhino population in Kruger National Park. As long as you got people like this that are trained and dedicated, the species has got hope.
Luckily, this rhino still has its horn. And if she can stand under her own strength, she'll have another chance at life.
You know, this truly is modern day conservation. This is what it takes, and it's a war out here. It truly is a war, and without dedicated people, and a lot of them, this war's not winnable.
Across modern Africa, where humanity thrives, wildlife inevitably suffers. And few species have suffered more than the wild rhino. Hunted to the very brink of extinction for the value of its horn, the final battle to save the mighty rhino is already underway. On one side, powerful poaching syndicates driven by a booming black market. On the other, a small but devoted group of men and women who refuse to let this iconic species slip away. They are vets, conservationists, and private citizens, all struggling to preserve some part of wild Africa for the generations to come. Today, I'm in South Africa, ground zero in the fight to save the wild rhino, and home to some of the most dedicated conservationists anywhere in the world. Petronelle Newalt and her partner, Chris Austin, started Care for Wild 12 years ago. Far from the reach of poachers, they've transformed this quiet valley into a secret orphanage and privately run rehabilitation center for the country's abandoned baby rhino.
As a poached rhino is found in a national park, the focus of that entire park is to catch the poachers. The baby that may or may not have relied on that dead mother came here very often on their last legs, and through a very intricate set of steps, it's people like this that give those babies hope.
We're here to look after them and ensure that they're here for future generations. They should all be out there with their moms now, learning how to become big rhinos, and they're not. They're here. We have to play that role. That's the sad part.
Before starting Care for Wild, Petronelle was a police captain in the Endangered Species Protection Unit, and Chris is the founder of the world's largest environmental fire management company. Now they've made it possible for hundreds of rescued calves to return to the wild. An astonishing feat considering the state of most of their rhinos when they arrive.
That specific female, its name is Luna. Her whole herd was swept out. There was no one left.
So she was the only survivor?
She was the only survivor. It was just too much stress. And then, you know, she ran into a shock situation, and then she will stop breathing. And normally at 2 o'clock at night, you know, and then you start, your breathing is 4 per minute. Hey, breathe, we need you, you know, breathe. Then we see she's not taking in enough fluid. So during the daytime, I graze with her on a drip. You know, we're walking there on a drip. Try to let her eat and so on.
It's overwhelming when you're surrounded by rhinos like this and you're literally in the shadow of these animals. It's the human hands that put them under such great stress, but it's human hands that are pulling them through as well.
I'm moved by the incredible empathy that Petronelle and Chris have for the orphans here.
They deal with all this trauma, with all this emotion, and they stand there, and the next thing they see is this human being, but the previous human being was
trying to kill
killing my
them.
mom and trying to kill me. So who's this? So you have to have that bond and commitment. They must feel that commitment. Then you can start working with them. They play a very important part every day.
Unbelievable what you guys are doing here.
For us, it's a calling.
But it's a calling that takes a lot of work. Later that afternoon, I get a glimpse of what goes into caring for these giant orphans, as Petronelle puts my skills as a rhino mum to the test. My name is Ivan Carter, and I'm visiting a sanctuary that cares for baby rhinos whose mothers have been lost to poaching. As with human babies, these orphans rely on a daily routine to help them grow big and strong. And that begins each morning with feeding time.
This is not your normal baby bottle. This is a rhino-sized bottle of milk here, and to think that every single individual animal has his or her specific formula according to where they are on their journey. There's a lot of milk going down these throats, and the crux of this operation is making sure that they're getting correct nutrition, and that takes a lot of doing.
The owner of this facility, Petronelle Newalt, has agreed to show me just what goes into preparing a baby rhino's bottle.
So this is where the magic happens, eh?
This is a magic place, huh? Have you seen people mixing?
We're about to see it, I think.
It's all in the hips thing.
How many gallons of milk do you guys mix every day?
I think we're going through a good 80 liters.
Sure.
Yeah. So the milk formula is over there.
But it's not just powder and water. Petronelle must supplement these bottles with all the nutrients her orphans would have received if their mothers had survived.
Glucose is a very important part of a rhino's diet.
Just very, very sweet, eh?
It's lovely. Very sweet. It's helping for the tummy. Then they go like, that can work, you know. And if it's a long night, you also go like,
A little bit for you too.
little bit.
So a sip for the rhino and a sip for you.
Oh, I love it. They adore that.
After my taste test, I'm eager to get down to work. So Petronelle hands me over to her foremost milk mixer, Dot Ludolfs, who after starting as a volunteer has already become Petronelle's protege.
Okay, Ivan, we're going to mix up some formulas. They each have their own buckets.
Here we go. So I've got Loafer and Twinkle's bucket, and you've got the 3 boys.
Yes.
Okay, let's go and make some milk.
Cool. That's 3.
How come when I do this, I get full of powder, and when you do it, you don't?
Oh, I get full of powder as well, all the way up to my arms, and sometimes you have some on your face as well.
Now we just simply add water and mix, and mix, and mix.
Sure, you guys know how to do this. This is a lot harder than it looks. You girls make this look easy, but I guess 3 times a day they do this to literally tens and tens of liters of rhino food, and I can feel my forearms already cramping up.
Well, you're doing well for your first time, I can tell you that. Okay, we can fill this one up a little more.
Ooh, she's gonna like this.
But Dot's still not done putting me through my paces.
Under this towel is the toughest part of the job, is the teats.
Oh, so this is tough to get them on the bottles.
That is very tough to get them on the bottle.
I'm gonna go and try and put this on.
Okay, do you want me to show you
Yes.
how I do it? My method.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have small fingers, so what I do, I twist it inside out, and then I place it over, and with my middle finger, I roll it and flick and snap.
Flick and snap. I don't know about the flick and snap, but I'm going to try my best. Is this Twinkle
This
here?
is Twinkles. That's good.
Okay.
First time lucky.
No, not first time lucky. First time skillful.
Yes, actually that was quite skillful.
No long fingernails for Rhino Lady.
Oh no, we keep it short. Short and sweet. You're good at this. Spoke too soon.
You spoke way too soon. These are tough things, man.
What's amazing to me is that Dot and her co-workers go through this process 3 times a day, every day, without exception. That's a tremendous amount of dedication to not just their babies, but to the future of the entire species.
Now we're ready to load it and take it down.
Evidently, Dot approves of my mixing and bottling technique, as she's given me the okay to face my next challenge, hand feeding a whole herd of 600-pound baby rhinos.
Hey. Be nice, be nice.
At the Care for Wild Rhino Orphanage, I'm getting a first-hand look at what it takes to rehabilitate a herd of rescued rhino. We finished mixing their bottles, and now it's feeding time.
There we go. Perfect. Alrighty, here we go. Yep.
Goofy on. Go. Go, Noy. Go, Noy. Two more. She's going to hate me if I leave her for the afternoon. You see, now all the rhinos also set their watches for 4 o'clock, Ivan.
This is unbelievable. This is what feeding time is at the rhino farm.
Feeding time happens inside the bomas. The word boma refers to any pen or enclosure which holds livestock or wildlife.
Everybody's ready.
It only takes these hungry babies about 20 seconds to polish off an entire bottle. That's a lot of prep time for a very quick breakfast.
Be nice, be nice.
And manners are most definitely not on the menu.
Watch out for Oz.
Ivan, careful. Oz is a tricky one.
No matter how playful these babies are, the scars from their violent and traumatic past are all too easy to see.
So this is the scar from the axe.
Yes.
And so they probably axed him just to get him out of the way.
Yeah. Remember, a second shot will attract authorities. So they chop it, break that spinal cord, and the animal goes down.
And they can chop the horn
They
off
chop
and
the
go.
horn off and they leave him and they walk away. That's how cruel they are. It's scary.
So we're at the moment busy getting some bone out of the spine that's dead. So every 3rd day, we do surgery on his back.
It's hardly human. Somebody's going to try and kill a rhino with an axe for just a handful of horn.
That's what I say. People don't understand what they're going through.
It's cruel beyond the words. Imagine your spine's chopped off and you're bleeding to death. It's crazy.
What you realize with each and every one of these rhinos is they've got an individual story. They've got an individual character and personality. I think what makes Petronelle so special is that she really identifies that difference. They're like her children.
Come, Manji. Come, Manji.
You hear her constantly saying, you've got to listen to the rhino, you've got to ask permission, and these are her babies. She is their stepmom. She's the reason that they're surviving.
What's being done here, that Petronelle's doing, is just
It's
amazing.
unbelievable. Man, it's a big weight on your shoulders, having this many rhinos, eh?
It is, it's a massive weight, but they're not our rhinos. These rhinos belong to the community. And when I say the community, I mean the global community at large.
Yeah, they really do.
This is the last spot on earth that these rhinos are. So it's our responsibility now. We've assumed that responsibility to make sure that they survive for future generations.
Yeah.
After breakfast and an early morning mud bath, Petronelle leads the rhinos back to their pens. But these rhinos are every bit as mischievous as human toddlers.
Careful, climb up.
And if not watched closely, we'll get into all kinds of trouble.
Where my bliksem? Look here. Look at this. There's a wire around my bushes there. Where's this coming from? Bring me pliers. Ivan, come with me.
Do you want me to help you?
Yeah, Ivan, just see if they turn, they can be very vicious, okay? Careful for that. Mabushi.
Petronelle tells me that Mabushi is one of her most temperamental rhino. So this is going to be a two-person job.
Mabushi. That's okay, my boy. Hey, you're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy.
While Petronelle
Yeah.
does her best to keep him calm,
Yeah.
I work as fast as I can, not wanting to spend a second longer than I have to, crouched behind this fussy rhinoceros.
That's okay, Mabush. Okay, careful. Okay, Mabush. That's okay, my boy. Thank you. Careful. Okay, Mabush. Okay, my boy. Careful.
While trying to free one of Petronelle's orphaned rhinos from a tangle of wire, I found myself in a vulnerable and dangerous position.
Okay, careful. Okay, Mabush. That's okay, my boy. Thank you. Careful. Okay, Mabush. Okay, my boy. Careful.
In the face of this grumpy orphan, Petronelle is one cool customer.
That's okay.
You know, you never know what's around the next corner. Eh?
That is the truth.
As a surrogate rhino mom, Petronelle is used to the unexpected. The range and variety of her duties just never seem to end.
Tula Don. He is the best animal in the country. Okay, hello.
She tells me that poor Don, one of her favorite rhinos, has been struggling with an upset stomach. He's having difficulty making the transition from the bottle to an all-grass diet, an important step in these rhinos' development. So she enlists my help once again, sending me on a special mission with Dot.
Dot, what are we going to do with this poop when we find it?
We're going to squeeze the juice out of it.
We or you?
You are going to squeeze the juice out into this.
Oh, not sure if I want this mission to succeed. Little Don has got an upset stomach, and one of the best ways to naturally cure that upset stomach is to find some of the oldest rhinos on the property, find a very fresh dropping of that, squeeze the juice out of that dropping into his bottle, and feed that to him. I guess I'm fixing to find out with the help of Dot what it takes to make a poop shake. Okay, this looks like it's pretty fresh, eh?
Yeah, this is this morning's droppings. It's as fresh as we'll get. Get your hands in the wettest spots, spot there, and squeeze as much juice as you can out into the bucket.
Yo.
That looks delicious.
Oh, that's delicious.
So Don, usually he would pick up the droppings from his mom to get the right enzymes and bacteria into his stomach so that he can digest the food correctly, so that the bacteria can break down the food. So because Don doesn't have that, we are using the bigger rhino's poop and squeezing all the right bacteria into the milk, and we're going to let him suckle on that nice poop milkshake.
So just the same as a human eating yogurt to settle
Exactly
their
the
stomach.
same, yes.
Where you're trying to get that bacteria out of the yogurt, this is a similar deal. I mean, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oops, nearly kicked that over. Yo.
If you mess it, you'll have to do with this all over again.
Oh my goodness. What do you think so far? How good am I as a poo squeezer?
I think you're doing quite good.
Is it spraying all over me? I mean, look at this.
Oh, that looks great. I think that's enough.
So now we're going to pour that in here. This is all in a day's work for a rhino mom.
Oh, it's already turning chocolatey. I think
There you
that's
go.
good. So now we'll just top it up with some water, just to dilute it a bit. And we're going to give this to Don.
An unsuspecting Don waits for us in the boma. Though usually jealous of any one rhino getting special attention, now the others seem to hang back, almost as if they know what's in the bottle.
There we go, little dude. How can you possibly think that's delicious? But he obviously does. And there it goes.
The speed at which Don sucks back his snack piques another rhino's curiosity.
There we go.
Give him some water to wash it down with. Wait, Johnny. See, he's drinking it much faster. He prefers clean water.
Prefers clean water. Imagine that. I think
Who
I
would
would
have
too.
thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Good boy. Spray them down a little bit.
There we go.
Cool them down a bit.
After just one day on the job, I'm starting to understand what it really takes to save these animals from the horrors of the poaching epidemic. And Petronel assures me that there are moments, every day, that make all the hard work worthwhile.
You must see them play. If it's a nice cool day, they run, they mudball, they run like, it's just water. They love it. Yes, and to see that is giving what you put in, giving all of that back to you, just that moment. Then they show you the grateful. But look at that, look at that, look, a shuffle a bird. Look at them, ding, ding, ding.
Listen to them talking, eh?
Yes, look at that happy rhino. Look at this dummy.
That's a happy rhino right there.
Yeah, it's like... And you must know, they're all orphans.
Yeah, that's amazing. Look at them running down here, huffing and puffing like a steam train.
Yes, and look. Oh, it's lovely.
Petronel's passion gives me hope.
As long as there's people like this on the front line, species is going to be okay. It is going to be okay.
But in this war to save the wild rhino, idyllic moments like this can change in the blink of an eye. Ours is cut short by a simple phone call. It seems that Chris and Petronel will have to prepare their facility for another new arrival. My name is Ivan Carter, and I'm working with some of the most dedicated rhino conservationists on the planet to learn what it really takes to save and rehabilitate a rescued baby rhino. But my time at the Care for Wild Rhino Orphanage has been cut short. We've received a call about a poaching incident involving a mother and her young calf. So, Chris Austin and I raced to the airport, desperate for details.
I just don't know what size animal it is.
Yeah, I've been trying to phone Richard, but he's out of service. I think he's gone to look at it, because all he told me was he knew that there was a calf. He didn't know the size of the calf. I think he just got from his rangers.
Our contact here is Richard Sowry, a section ranger for South African national parks. Richard is the one that called us in, but by the time we arrive, he's already out in the bush, assessing the severity of the attack.
What we're doing is we're just trying to find out all the details. There's a lot of logistics that goes into this.
And we can't take off till we have the exact coordinates of Richard and his team. At last,
Yes, Richard.
I get through to Richard.
Can you send the lock stats of exactly where it is? Yeah, I'll copy that.
Richard also tells me that the mother, at first glance, appears to be in bad shape,
Okay, man.
while the calf seems to be relatively unharmed. While I go with the chopper, Chris rushes back to Care for Wild to help prepare for the new arrival.
We've got all the clearances that we need. We finally got all of that in order, and we're on our way.
In the chopper, I'm introduced to Peter Buss, one of Sam Park's most experienced rhino vets.
Good. Everyone tight? This rhino's been watched. There's some field rangers that have been with it this whole time. Just hope that we get there in time. You know, as we fly towards this rhino, we still got about a 40-minute flight.
Our flight path will take us directly over some of the low-income settlements on the park boundary.
When you look at the volume of people that live right along the park boundary, a boundary that separates this population with one of the biggest populations of rhino left on the planet today, and with the value of rhino horn and the level of poverty in the community here, no wonder that this conflict exists.
Mid-flight, I get an update from the field.
It is confirmed that the mother is quite badly wounded and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to save her or not. At least in Kruger, with the efficiency of Sand Parks, this rhino's actually got quite a bit of hope.
As we get close, Peter prepares his tools and mixes a number of tranquilizer darts with varying doses. I coordinate with Richard and his ground crew to get an exact fix on the rhino's location.
Are your guys on the ground up here, Rich? They're all there. The rhino is, yeah? The rhino standing there. Down here.
Yeah, okay, let's see it. Alright, yeah, that's quite down. I wanted to see how badly injured she is.
So we've seen the rhino. Now what's happening is we're just assessing how badly injured the female is. We're just hovering right over it right now.
Yeah, there's a bullet wound in her right shoulder there.
Yeah, high up, eh?
And you can see this right leg is very swollen over the shoulder blade.
She's not well, eh?
It looks like her left foreleg is gone.
The situation from the air doesn't look good. The mother is badly injured. We won't know if we can save her until we get down on the ground. Deep inside the Kruger National Park, we've just had our first look at two victims of a poaching attack. A large female rhino and her young calf. Even from the air, it's clear the mother's been badly shot and she's struggling to survive. The calf appears to be stable and active, but the mother's injuries keep her from moving. With a stationary target, Peter decides to dart her from the air. He takes a shot, and the dart strikes its mark. We confirm with Richard that the dart is in, and he prepares for our arrival. Pete is eager to get on the ground and save this mother's life.
You need to offload? Yeah.
So we come in for a landing and finally link up with Richard. The plan is to dart the baby on foot, then move in and assess the mother's injuries.
So what we're gonna do now is stay about 10 yards behind the fence as they go forward. Richards is with them with a firearm, just because safety is obviously primary.
The thick bush makes sensitive operations like this all the more difficult. Though the mom is darted, the baby is still nervous, and it's spooked by our approach. To limit further stress on the mother, we wait for her tranquilizer to kick in before darting her baby. But time is of the essence. At last, the drugs take effect, and the mother goes down. Peter lines up his shot.
Finally, we've got a dart into the baby.
The drug takes effect, and we move in to cover the baby's eyes.
Let me just... Here we go, little guy. Here we go. Okay, here we go. It's a little cow.
With the baby secure and stable, it's time to attend to the mother. She's only been shot once, but the bullet entered her upper left leg and shattered her shoulder blade. Not only is this mother in extreme pain, she will not be able to walk on her injured leg, let alone take care of her calf. To make matters worse, she's having difficulty breathing, and Pete believes the bullet is now lodged inside her lungs. It's painfully clear there's nothing more we can do for her. To spare her the hours or days of pain, Richard and Pete make the unbelievably difficult decision to euthanize her.
it's difficult.
You know, when you witness this firsthand, when you're part of an operation like this, and you look into the eyes of these field rangers who work so hard, they put their lives on the line every day. And you realize that this is all so unnecessary. The rhino horn doesn't have any medicinal properties. This old lady has died because of a myth, because of an old tradition with absolutely no scientific foundation. And it's just not fair. This wildlife doesn't deserve this. It's horrific what we're doing to our wildlife.
But our work isn't over. There's still a life we have to save. And Pete and Richard have already called for an emergency airlift to get this baby back to safety.
The rescue helicopter's on the way, and we're probably going to lift him out in that helicopter and take him to Care for Wild.
Peter does all he can to prepare the baby for the trip.
So what we're doing is just covering over her eyes, just to make sure that she doesn't have any visual stimulus. It just helps with the whole stress of the situation. Richard's monitoring the breathing, very important that the breathing stays regular.
Exhalation every 4 seconds, Pete.
Suddenly, the sound of a chopper in the distance. Well, the chopper is here. The pilot rushes over.
This is Pete.
Stephen tells us that we're so deep into the park that Care for Wild is at least 2 hours away. A flight that long would surely kill a baby rhino.
Okay.
But there is a Sandparks facility he believes he can get to in an hour. It's still a dangerously long time to have a baby rhino in the air, but it may be our only option.
It's like an hour sling back.
Is it?
You want to sling it that long?
I've done them about 50 minutes.
Let's go.
All right.
Time she's going.
With the baby's tranquilizer wearing off, the clock is ticking. We must get her to the orphanage as quickly as possible. Once she leaves the ground, we'll have no way to monitor her vitals until we land. The stress placed on this baby today has been enormous, but the stress of this next hour could kill her. My name is Ivan Carter, and I'm with a team of South African National Parks Rangers, trying to save the life of this young rhino calf. Unable to rescue its mother, we're now airlifting the baby to an orphanage. But first, it must survive an hour-long trip through the air, dangling from the belly of a helicopter.
The vet's in the chopper with us because he's going to come wherever this rhino goes.
As with most heavy animal airlifts, the best way to sling a rhino is by its 4 feet. The chopper pilot guides the hook through the thick canopy and must exercise the utmost care in maneuvering his precious cargo through the trees. The pilot travels as fast as he can, given the delicate nature of his cargo, and we keep a close eye on him. But there's nothing we can do until we're safely back on the ground. After nearly an hour in the air, a dangerously long flight for an already stressed animal, we arrive at the Skukuza Bomas. The baby is released from the sling, and we land. I'm the first one out of the chopper. I need to know if she's all right.
She's breathing. She's still breathing. Breathing.
The local vet here confirms this little one has survived the flight.
What we're doing is we're just making sure that this baby is stable. She's had about a 45-minute flight now. It's been a traumatic day for her, and as soon as she can be put into the Boma, just quiet and easy, the better. You know, when you look at this, it's a monumentous effort by Sam Parks. It's a monumentous effort by a whole team of people here.
Blood and DNA samples are collected by the local vets, and they inject her with a reversal drug to wake her up and see if she can walk on her own.
Come on, good. There we go. There we go. Come on. Get this leg up and go. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
You need somebody on this other side.
All right, stop there.
In case she wobbles around.
For this baby rhino, this is the end of a very traumatic journey, but it's also the beginning of the rest of her life.
As harsh as a day as it's been, it's a successful day. A harsh day, but a successful day.
After all the drama of the day, and perhaps because of my time at the Care for Wild orphanage, I can't help but feel an intense connection to this little rhino. Call it a sudden sense of paternal instinct. But before I bid farewell to the pilots, I make arrangements to fly back here tomorrow. I need to know that she'll be all right.
Carter's War would like to thank the following people and organizations. Without their help, this program would not be possible.
My name is Ivan Carter, and after taking part in an operation to save an orphan baby rhino, I'm back at the Skukuza Bomas to see how our little rescued calf is doing.
Well, I've just arrived here at the Skukuza Bomas, where I'm hoping to find Ben Beloy. Ben Beloy is the overseer, the manager of the Bomas here, and I want to find out just how our baby's doing from yesterday. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself, sir?
Very good, thanks. We've come to see the rhino from yesterday.
Oh, okay. You can come with me.
Ben tells me that the baby was having a hard time adjusting to its new surroundings. So late last night, he tried a new strategy. And much to his delight, it worked.
So this is her, yeah. This is the one that came yesterday. You can see.
Ben paired the orphan with one of his older female rhinos.
That's fantastic. Yes. And we didn't believe this morning that we put it together for this. Mom, you can see the bond that, you know, yes, immediately. Yes.
That's your new baby, eh?
Yes. She's my little one.
As with Petronelle and the other workers at the Care for Wild Rhino Orphanage, Ben's dedication to his animals is absolute.
This is your family, eh?
Yes, this is my family for sure. They are my babies, they are my kids, because they are on a safe hand, you know, we look after them for sure. We have to fight, you know. The good thing is that, of course, this fight is everyone's fight. It's not for SANParks only. That's what makes us happy, you know, to be honest. It's everyone's fight. We have to fight. And we're doing our best. We're trying to do our best, you know. The good thing is that, of course, people outside there, they're joining us, maybe to help us, to fight this war.
Even though the poaching epidemic is spreading faster than ever, Ben is right. Every day, more and more heroes around the world join the ranks of those fighting for the future of Africa's rhino. And maybe, with the inspiration of people like Petronel and Chris, Richard Sowry and his rangers, the wildlife vets, and all the other leaders in this fight, maybe there is a future for wild Africa after all. And it's my sincere hope that the mighty rhino will forever walk upon it.
When you see the effort that SANParks is putting into this, this is what gives you hope. They arrive here at the end of an incredibly tragic, traumatic experience. They watch their mothers getting shot in front of their eyes, and they arrive here having the worst possible introduction to man. And then they come into tender, loving hands where they see the best side of man. They get to be kept safe. And I just hope they get to learn to trust man.